Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Michael Levan. Thank you so much for joining me today. And what we're going to be talking about is how to take a Python Flask app that I've already written, but I'm going to go ahead and show you all the code and stuff like that. We're going to take that code, we're going to containerize it, and we're going to run the container. So let's go ahead and jump right into the demo and see how we can take a Flask app and containerize it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the application itself first, and then we'll talk about the Docker file. So if I open up Container App here, you're going to see two directories, static and templates. Now static is going to contain this really awesome picture of these cute puppies here. And then templates is going to contain the HTML. So this is just going to be like a real basic web page, and it's going to say Mike's Web App. Well, that's the title rather. And then it's going to say pups, and then it's going to show this picture of these puppies. And then it's going to have this paragraph here to just say, enjoy this awesome pic. So if you're wondering why the picture is in the static directory and the index.html is in the templates, that's because Flask is expecting this by default. So the default places for Flask to look for images is going to be under the static directory. And then the default place for Flask to look for any HTML files and templates is going to be under the templates directory. So now let's open up the application here. And this is going to be a really straightforward Flask app. On line 1, I'm just importing the Flask SDK. On line 4, I'm initializing the Flask app with the app variable. On line 6, I'm going to be setting up my route. So my route is just going to be /pups. So if I open up a URL and I go to /pups, it's going to bring up the cute picture of the puppies and the HTML. Then the method is going to be get, because I'm not posting or deleting or doing anything. I'm literally just retrieving information. And then on line 8 here, I have the function. And this function is simply just returning the template for index.html. And then on line 9, I'm ensuring that this application is running standalone. It's not being imported or anything like that. And I'm using the run function on line 12. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the Docker file. So this is how I can containerize this entire application. As we can see here, I'm going to be pulling the latest Python image because it makes sense. I mean, especially if I'm just like running a Python application, I don't want to, bring in an Ubuntu image or something like that and have to install Python and all that good stuff. Next, I'm going to be creating a new directory with mkdir on line 3 that's called build. I'm going to ensure that my working directory, so everything after this point, everything that I'm doing is inside of that build directory. I'm going to be copying all of the contents from this container app directory, and I'm going to bring it to the build directory. Next, I'm going to copy over my requirements.txt, and if I open that up really quick, we're going to see here that I'm just saying that, I have to have Flask installed. Go back to the Docker file here. So it's going to install it on line 10 here. It's going to say, pip install the requirements. And then finally, the command that I want to run is python app.py. So for example, if I was just, maybe just running this locally, I would run python app.py, and this would bring up my application. So now my Flask app is started. So I want to do the same thing inside of the container itself. So with that, now that we have all that set up, I'm just going to ls. I can see here that I'm in the directory. So I'm just going to cd up here. I'm going to do an ls again, and we can see the Docker file. So I actually have some instructions here for you guys, and I'm literally going to do the same thing that I see here. So I'm going to run docker build -t for the tag, and then I'm going to name the image container Python. And this dot here means that, run it from the current directory. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paste that in. And then this is going to go through, and this is going to start to run our Docker file. So we see here that it's pulling from Python latest. It's creating the build directory. It's making the working directory as build. It's copying all of the contents from container.py. Here we can see that it's installing Flask for us. So here's all the installations here for Flask. And then as we can see, the last step is to run our command. So our image is successfully built. I'm going to clear my screen, and I'm going to do docker image ls. And we can see here that container Python has been built 23 seconds ago. Next, what we want to do to actually run this Docker container locally is we run docker run -p, and then we're going to specify these ports. So we're going to do just like the default Flask ports of 5000, and then we're going to specify the Docker image. I'm going to come down here, and I'm just going to literally paste this in. And then as we can see, the Python container running the Flask app is now running inside of a container. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you again next time.